YouTube! Welcome back. My name is Emmy Matcha. Today we will be discussing some things that I've been thinking about ever since I did watch Mr. Pokey's podcast. I will link it down below because they did discuss a lot of things regarding the future of Wuthering Waves, and they brought a lot of good ideas in that podcast. However, when I was watching it, again, I didn't intentionally mean to talk. When I was watching it, I was genuinely watching it for entertainment purposes as I was doing my Honkai Star Rail event. But because of that podcast, it really did generate a lot of ideas for me. Some things that I thought that would be good to have in Wuthering Waves. How it is right now, I do believe it has a really great base, a really strong foundation as to being a really, really great game. I think it's really bare, and there's a lot of the framework right now is just really, it's there, but I feel like there's a lot of things in there that we can add to satisfy both the hardcore players and the casuals. Okay, I'm gonna try to throw these ideas out there so we can all be happy. All right, so if you want to watch me live here, feel free to follow me on twitch.tv/emmymatcha, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you have any other ideas to add to this as well. Let's talk about the ideas. I'm gonna propose the ones that go from, I guess, casual to hardcore. These are just like some ideas that I thought of. And maybe, you know, if Curl Games uses them, you know, pay me for my ideas. But like, honestly, I just want it to be good for everybody so that everybody just gets satisfied and then there's no burnout on both ends. So the first idea that was brought up in that podcast, and I do believe like it's something that I did touch on last stream, was base building in this game. So the idea of you having like a teapot, similar to Genshin, a home, right? A place where you can have your echoes or your characters exist, and you can then make them go through and do assignments for you in that way. So then with that, you can actually, you know, have the casuals not lose out on too many mats. So for example, the Scarlet Thorns, maybe have things like that, the Lampy Lumens, right? Have things like that in there where you can send out your characters to assignments in that teapot, or have them farm passively for it so that you can, you know, get all these extra mats. Like cooking here also matters in this game as well. Like there's an insane crit rate buff, but yeah, you can send your echoes out to farm, or you send out your Ling Yang to farm and then have them do that, right? So at least some people that are more casual and can't log into the game too much will have that there as well. But also for the hardcore players, they'll also get that too, so that, you know, when they don't have time to run around the overworld, they can do that as they do other things. So that I think would be nice. With the characters existing in your teapot, your house, your whatever base they're gonna allow us to build, like you can talk to them, build relationships with them. Because again, casuals do tend to enjoy that. I mean, I tend to enjoy that too. I mean, I'm casual, I guess. But like I tend to enjoy like sometimes getting to know the characters more outside of just reading, because right now, like you can read about them here, right? Like there's like voice lines and stuff like that, right? It's locked behind stuff. Like there's thoughts here, right? You can learn about Jian's hobby, right? There's all this stuff.
Hindi po talaga ako marunong mag-Japanese.
Like imagine if you were to like able to like talk to them one-on-one, and then you know, build a relationship with them, and it goes to another level. I don't know, right? Not saying build a relationship with them, but I mean like you see like more to their lore, their backstory, right? So again, like instead of me just having to do this, I mean, it's not a bad thing that this exists, but just an extra thing again for casuals to physically see the characters in their teapot or their house. It'd be pretty nice, I think, would have. The next thing that I would think to help with the echo farming issue. The echo farming issue in this game right now is so that, yes, you can go around and farm the overworld for echoes, and then you can get potentially better drops from there, or you can use them to fuse into better echoes. But eventually, if you think about it in long-term perspective, you're going to have less of a reason to want to farm for these echoes, right? You're gonna, like, over time, like in 6 months, like how many of us are going to want to run around and farm for echoes? Because realistically, I think like in that amount of time, like 6 months to a year, you're going to have at least really great echoes for your characters. Like right now it seems fun because not everybody has like best in slot gear for everybody, right? Like it's really rare to see unless you're like super whaling to see like every single character, like all of these characters geared up. So eventually you're going to run to the whole like, oh, I don't have a reason to run around the world. So what I propose for this, in order for them to keep the system there and to like keep it fun, is to make it so there's a rare pet drop, and this pet goes around collecting mats in the vicinity around your player. So it's like a really small percentage, but every time you kill like a certain mob, like for example, they'd be kind of sick if I had an Infernal Rider running around me, I'll be honest. But like if he dropped, right, got a little mini Infernal Rider running around you, and like anytime you go around like a flower, he'll ride up and he'll just pick it for you. Or like he'll ride up and slash the rock for you, you get it? Just like, it's just like, again, additional things that maybe like, it's not like game breaking, right? It's not game breaking because you can just run around and get rocks yourself, pick flowers yourself. But like these little things there, I think it'd be like really fun to have that implemented in there. And again, it's not game breaking enough so that the casuals don't care enough to like be like, oh, like I'm gonna lose out on it. Breeding echoes as well, you can do that as well if you really want to add that system in place as well. You can, instead of having a substat reroller, because they have that in games like Diablo, you can make it so that the pets that you breed passively, they have like a chance to change one substat. Pass down the substats. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, pass down those substats. But anyways, that could be like their substat reroll system. Potentially. Yo, we're cooking. So Techie brought up the existence of not a weekly boss, but he brought up an existence of a boss and having people being able to fight it together. What I suggest on that one, make it so that it's like a boss that spawns and it's always available so that anyone at any point in time can just log in and queue. So make it like a queue system like League, where you can just auto queue and then just pair you with random people. Or you can have the ability to form your own party. So people that, want to play with certain friends, they can do that as well. Thing is that now you're going to run into like, what happens if I'm going to run into like people that don't know how to play good? Well, you can incentivize the people that are newer to the game, that don't know their class as well, right? They're going to be newer. They're going to be scared to queue into these things. So you can make it so that you can have the people that are more veterans or older into the game, you can have it so that there's more of an incentive to basically, for lack of better words, carry those people that are newer. But if you do that, right, then the people that are veterans, they'll get more of a bonus if those newer players end up in their party. So it's kind of like if you played Final Fantasy 14 and it's like the daily roulette system, where potentially you could run into newer players. So it's the little sprout there, right? If you know in Final Fantasy 14, there's like those new players that come into there. You can have it so that you can queue in with those guys. They can do whatever. They can ask you questions, and like that you can teach them how to clear and help them clear. But also the incentive to you to do that as a veteran, right? You get more like XP or more some other value, something else for you if they end up in your party. Now, the other issue is, I know this firsthand from every game that I played, is that these bosses, right, if they end up to be like available for 2 weeks, the people that end up queuing at the later, let's say 2 or 3 days before the 2 weeks end, they'll end up basically having less people to queue with, and it ends up just being like kind of impossible to clear. So you can make it so that like the last like 2 days or the last day of that boss existing, have it so that there's like a debuff on that boss, so that people that do end up queuing at the very end, like if they're last minute because of life reasons, then at least that boss will be less strong or a little bit weaker, so that people can at least clear it. Then you can at least like everybody will be happy. Again, these are just ideas I'm throwing out there. Just things that I'm thinking that can just satisfy all players. But of course, I guess you can make it so it's fair, so that at the end of the week, like at the end of that period, near the end, you'll get less rewards, but at least you can still clear it. Work with it and let me know. The next one that I'm going to propose here, and this is for the harder content, the players that are wanting to challenge themselves more in this game. So we talked about the boss where it's like available for 2 weeks, whatever, however long. That's separate, right? For this harder content, I propose to have another boss, could be bosses, but another boss where it allows a title to drop if you clear this boss with perfect parries and not getting any HP, like not getting hit basically. You can do that and have a title. And with that, you can put the people that clear this boss, you can have a leaderboard for them and put their clear time on that leaderboard, so people that are more competitive, so you don't have to make it PvP in a sense, but in a way it is kind of PvP because you're seeing the players that are clearing on that leaderboard, and you get to see like challenge yourself that way, right? So whales, the thing is like the casuals, again, you'll lose out on this, but the things with the only things that they're gonna get out of this, and people do care about these things, is like the title, and that title, right? You can use that, or you can drop like a currency. Let's say if you're top 10, you'll get that title, for example, and that title will reset every month, maybe every 2 weeks. And so the potential for people to be on that leaderboard, will change. Clear with Mortifi, and then you will build accordingly with whatever you think would be best on him. You could do that, and then you'll be on that leaderboard for that reason. So it basically challenges people to try out other characters, build other characters, play outside their comfort zone, and still benefit by getting a title. And those are, again, for the hardcore players, where again you just have to be perfect with your parrying, you're perfect with not getting hit ever, and then you'll be able to be on that leaderboard, and it'll be timed as well. Also with that leaderboard too, you can make it like leader specific rewards. Even if you don't want just a title, you can make it so there's like a certain currency where it will drop if you participate in this mode, and then you can use that to buy like temporary titles as well, skins if you want to, pets if you want to. People will have like an incentive to like glam themselves up, have a title, have a pet, and it won't be locked towards them for the entirety. Like it can always rotate. If anything, it's just for those people that are more skilled or want to test out their skill to be able to use it somewhere, right? Other than just hologram fights, because after you guys clear hologram fights, after you clear Tower of Adversity, right, what else is there? At least this will have like a rotating system where you can constantly challenge and push your builds outside of what things you are comfortable with. Like it's nothing game breaking, it doesn't change anything, it's just for like bragging rights. But people enjoy doing those things, right? They enjoy trying to go for those things. And the last thing too that I do suggest as well is you can have like a training dummy or a area where you can practice your rotations. So that training dummy, at least you can practice your rotations there and measure your personal DPS. So there are things like that in other games, but you can do that so that people can hone their skills. They can like check out like if, instead of me running around the overworld and getting hit, I can at least try it out with a training dummy or something so that I can figure it out. Because like the issue that was brought up again in that podcast was like people don't know their characters. Well, then they can, if they really wanted to know their characters, you either one, push out harder content, or two, give them an area where they can test it out so that they can feel out their characters. I'm not gonna say a lot of us, I'm gonna say I don't like to read, and like I just go through the trials and just do it for the rewards. Like that's the bad thing, is I'm just doing it for the rewards, and if I lose, or if I'm if I realize like why am I doing so little, right, then I go back and I try to learn that character. That's just me personally, but like I would just feel like a training dummy in addition of that, or like a training area would be really nice for people to just practice their rotations. The things that I have right now, like I'm proposing, are things that just keep the longevity, to keep the game going for people that still want to play the game, right? Because like we all run into the point where at the end of gachas, Like it just log in for 5 minutes and then we're done, right? And like there's people that really genuinely love this game and they want to keep playing this game. Like there's no reason for them to play at the end of like in a year's time, right? So having, I guess, these systems in here will kind of like add more appeal to the game, but it won't change the game too much so that it wouldn't be like a non-gacha. You know what I mean? Like they can monetize on skins, they can still monetize on the pets if it were available, but those things aren't going to be changing the whole game entirely, but it's just adding more meat into the game. Let me know how you feel about the things I suggested. I mean, do you think that they're worth considering? Do you think that they're good ideas? I don't know, right? Just tell me your ideas down in the comments down below, but also like and subscribe and follow me here on twitch.tv/emmymatcha. If you want to see more content like this or more Wuthering Waves content, I will be here streaming it live. All right, YouTube, I'll see you next time. But chat, say bye. Do it. Do it before I do it. Don't embarrass me, chat. Do it. Wait, chat's actually doing it. I feel bad. I feel bad. I'm sorry. Bye, YouTube. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.